Can I get a volunteer to read out problem number 1 for everyone? All right, Jordan, take it away, sir.
Okay. Let's actually do the problem number 2. Mr. Church posted a YouTube video and got 22 views in the first hour. Then posted a constant stream of, and then received a constant stream of 9 additional views per hour. Then Mr. Church posted a TikTok and got 100 views in the first hour and 7 views per hour after that. How many views of both videos have to be up?
How many hours?
How many hours of both videos have to be up before they reach the same number of views?
Beautiful. Thank you, Jordan. So, this is the basis of all of our word problems and equations right here with this lesson. We have 2 different things that we are going to be comparing. In this problem, one of the things is how many views I'm getting on a YouTube video, and the other thing we're comparing is how many views I'm getting on a TikTok, right? So these are the 2 things we're comparing. We're going to use our favorite formula in the world, y equals mx plus b. But we're not going to be graphing, we're not doing any lines or anything like that. It's okay, just take a deep breath. We're just going to use the form of this equation. We're not going to be doing lines and graphs and stuff like that, okay? And if you remember back to our unit rate lesson, which I'm sure we all do, M, that's going to represent our unit rate, or our repeating number. And B is going to represent our initial value, or our starting point. So, we are going to have to find within this problem, we're going to find 2 unit rates and 2 initial values. All right? So, let's go ahead and we're going to do this in 2 separate equations. Then we're going to see how they come together and form one single equation. So, on the left side, we're going to go with the YouTube video. And then on the right side, we're going to look at the TikTok. And go ahead and put a cloud around this part, because I want you to know that that's not, I want you to know that this has to do with the lesson as a whole, not just this specific problem. So right here, this is the important, technically like notes part of this lesson that you're going to want to write down. So, like I said, we're going to split this up into 2 different situations here. With the YouTube video, I got 22 views in the first hour, 22 views in the first hour, and then after that I received 9 views per hour. So the 2 numbers associated with the YouTube context here are 22 and 9. Now, one of these numbers is our unit rate, and one of them is our initial value. Who can help me figure out which one is going to be which? Theo, go ahead and help us out. Which one is going to be our unit rate? 9. Why do you say 9 is going to be our unit rate?
Because it says 9 additional views per hour.
Adibullah, please stop talking. Go ahead.
Because it says 9 additional views per hour.
Perfect. What does that mean?
It means every hour you get 9 views.
Oh, so every hour I'm getting 9 views. That sounds kind of like a repeating number to me, right? Doesn't that kind of sound like a number that's going to repeat to all of you? Every hour that passes, I get 9 more views, 9 more views, 9 more views. So that's how we can tell which of these 2 numbers is our unit rate. Just think about which number is actually repeating. Now, 22 is not going to repeat, right? So, Brazon, what can we call 22? Is 22 going to be our unit rate or our initial value?
Oh, the initial value.
Initial value, thank you. So our B value is going to be 22. Remember, the B value represents our starting point, right? So it makes sense that in the first hour we got 22 views. That's where we start. Because after that, we only get 9 views each hour. So for whatever reason, that first hour, the video kind of popped off a little bit more than in the following hours at least. So that's going to be our B value. Let's go ahead and now set up this equation, y equals mx plus b, with these two numbers. Our equation is going to read y equals blank x plus blank. What's this equation going to look like? Jordan?
Y equals 9x
Plus 22, right? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jordan. Y equals 9x plus 22. It's all right. So our unit rate is going to go in front of the x. Our initial value is going to be added on to the end, right? Now let's take a look at the TikTok side of things. So the TikTok that I posted got 100 views in the first hour. 100 views in the first hour.
Are these like real like things you already did?
No, it's I forget how to say it. Facetious? It's fake. It's not real. It's just a problem. How many views did I get in the first hour? 100. If I did have a TikTok, I would not get this many views. That's for sure.
Yes, you would.
First one you
You could be a teacher guy church. Teacher guy.
I could. I thought about doing that, but no, it's okay. It sounds like a lot of work. Sounds like a lot of work running a social media thing. I don't even like using my own personal social media, so I'm not going to do a business one. It's a good idea, though. So, the TikTok gets 100 views in the first hour. How many views does it get per hour after that again?
7.
This one's going to get, 7, right? So, 100 views, and then 7 views. And then, let's see, we got 22 views in the first hour, and then 9 additional views after that. Just separating the information here. So between 100 and 7, which of those is going to be our starting point, and which is going to be our repeating number? Who can help me out? Theo?
100 will be the starting point, and 7 will be the repeating number.
Beautiful. Exactly right. Now, luckily for us, these two, even though they're different platforms that I'm posting these videos, it's the same idea, right? That's how we're able to compare these two contexts. So we know that the amount of views you get in the first hour, that helps you out too. First hour, that's your starting point. And then 7 views per hour after that, that's our repeating number. Every hour that passes, I'm getting 7 more views on that video. So we can go ahead and write the equation, y is equal to what? What's our equation here going to read? Blake, you think you got it?
Y equals 7x plus 100.
Absolutely. Y equals 7x plus 100. So as we've always said with our word problem lessons, the number one thing you need to do before even worrying about the math is understanding the context of the problem. Luckily for us, we should all at least understand what's going on in this problem. Now comes the fun part. We've got these two equations, right? What are we trying to find here? Why are we even bringing this up? What are we looking for? Theo, what are we looking for?
How many hours will both videos have?
Exactly. So we're looking for a amount of time. We're looking for a number of hours, right? So our answer is going to be blank hours. That's a good thing to realize at the beginning because it's going to help guide us towards the end. So we want to find how much time has got to pass before they reach the same number of views. So because we see this word same in here, go ahead and do like a triple underline under that. Same number of views. So because we're looking for when the amount of views are the same, all we have to do here, and actually on these equations, go ahead underneath y, write a little bit, or a little 1, and then under the second one, write a little 2. y1 and y2. Just so we can distinguish between which equation is our YouTube and which equation is our TikTok equation. What we're going to do is we're going to set both equations equal to each other and solve for x. So what we're doing here is we're creating an equation with variables on both sides, which I believe was lesson, 7.2 from last Wednesday. That's exactly what we were doing today in our warm-up, was solving equations with variables on both sides. So we're going to set y1 equal to y2. This is kind of a challenging question, but can someone tell me what y represents in this equation? What does y represent? Noah?
Y, the hours?
Very close. Very close. Hannah?
The amount of views.
Yeah, the amount of views, right? So let's take a look at this equation. We know y is equal to the amount of views. Now let's talk through this. The amount of total views is equal to 7 views times the number of hours it's been up, because we get 7 views per hour, plus those 100 views we got in the first hour. So this function over here, this equation 7x plus 100, is a function to determine the total number of views for that video after a specific amount of time, which is our x. So we're trying to find when the views of the YouTube video are equal to the views of the TikTok. That's why we're setting these equal to each other. And then we just plug in both equations. 9x plus 22 equals 7x plus 100. Now, doesn't this look kind of like the equations we saw in our warm-up this morning? Yeah, except they're all positive terms, which is better for us. We don't have to deal with all those negatives until we subtract. And now we're just going to go ahead and solve this like normal. So, what's the very first thing we're going to do when we're going to solve this equation here? Jordan, what's the first thing we want to do?
Draw the line.
Beautiful, thank you. We're going to draw a line through our equal sign. We're going to split this up. All right, what's the first inverse operation we're going to perform here? Jordan?
Subtract 7x from 9.
Absolutely. We're going to focus on our variable terms first, and we're going to bring those over to the left by subtracting 7x from both sides. The 7x's on the right-hand side cancel. And what do we get now on the left? What's 9x minus 7x? 2x, exactly. Plus 22 equals 100. What's our next move here going to be? Noah?
Minus 22 on both sides.
That's right, we're going to subtract 22. We brought our variable term to the left. Now let's bring our constant term to the right. Subtract 22 from both sides. They cancel on the left, leaving us with just 2x equals What? Thank you. 78. Absolutely. Now our third and final step is going to be to do what to both sides, everybody?
Divide.
Divide. Thank you, everybody. We're going to divide both sides by 2. Those 2's are going to cancel to 1. And all we're left with is x equals what?
39.
39. Now, is that going to be our final answer?
No.
No. What are we missing, Theo?
We're missing how many views. How many views, yeah. Well, y equals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. So, yes, we could find y if we wanted to. We could plug 39 into either of these equations and get the total number of views they both have. But what were we looking to find again? What did we highlight at the top? How many hours, right? So I know you may think, oh, this problem's all about views. My answer is 39 views. We got to think about what we're looking for in the first place, right? We were asked how many hours do they both have to be up before they reach the same amount of views. Now, we don't know how many views they have, but we do know how long they've been up. And that is 39 hours. That's right. So after 39 hours, both of these videos will have the same amount of views. Any questions about that? So, show of thumbs, how do we feel about the solving portion of it? Because that hasn't changed any from what we've been talking about this past week, or 2 weeks it's been now. So, show of thumbs, how do we feel about solving the equation? Just the part where we solve. How do we feel? Okay, good. Now, how do we feel about setting these equations up? Because that's really the hard part. I see we got some thumbs sideways. Okay. Let's take a look now at problem 2. If you have some space on this page, you can continue on this page. I'm going to start a new page just so it's consistent. And then go ahead and take about 2 minutes, glue in problem number 2. And then we'll get talking about it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jordan had to go.
Okay. Go ahead, Jordan.
That's a lot of numbers on this one.
Wait, what? So
Take a walk around, see how we're doing with the glue.
I'm doing it.
You're nice, dude.
No, you're not. What do you mean? Please on. Please on. This is October 17th. Oh, it is.
All right. Anybody still gluing? Perfect. Can I get a volunteer to read this problem out for everyone? Mason, go for it, sir. So while Mason's reading this problem, we're all going to give him our undivided attention. We're going to stop talking, and we're going to get this problem done, and then we'll have time to work. Go ahead, Mason.
Micah and Lewis decided to start competing dog walking businesses to make some money before the summer. Micah charges a flat rate of $20 plus $10 per mile walked. Lewis charges a flat rate of $50 plus $5 per mile walked. How many miles would they both have to walk before they made the same amount of money?
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Mason. So as we can see, this problem is written almost exactly like problem number 1. We have two contexts that we're comparing. We've got Micah's dog walking business, and we've got Lewis's dog walking business. Micah's charging $20 up front, plus $10 every mile. And Lewis is charging a little bit more up front, $50 up front, but less per mile, only $5 per mile. So basically, we want to think about this kind of problem like this. Let's say you want to get a dog walker. You're trying to hire a dog walker. You want to determine which of these individuals is going to be a better deal, right? Because Micah's deal sounds pretty good because it's less money up front, but you're paying more per mile walked. Lewis's initial fee is ludicrous, but it's only $5 per mile after that. So if you could think like, all right, if I want him to go on a really long walk, I maybe want to go with Lewis. But if it's a shorter walk, maybe Micah would make more sense. This is kind of why we're doing these problems, to determine which of these is going to be a better deal. Okay? So let's figure out the context. We're, of course, going to have two situations. One of them is Micah's business, and the other one is going to be Lewis's. We're going to need to find an initial value and a unit rate for each of them. Let's go ahead and determine what those numbers are. Micah, let's see, Micah's charging $20 plus $10 per mile walked. And then Lewis is charging $50 plus $5 per mile walked. And again, the question that we're being asked is how many miles. I'm just going to highlight the word miles so I know what my units are going to be at the end, or actually how many miles. So our answer is going to be in miles. How many miles would they both have to walk before they've made, once again, the same amount of money? That's the key here, the same amount of money. That word right there tells us that we're going to set both equations equal to each other. Yeah, Blake. Yeah, go ahead. So, what is our B value for Micah? What's Micah's initial value going to be? Hannah, what's our initial value for Micah? 20, right? Micah's charging $20 as a flat rate. And then how much, what's his repeating number? What's our unit rate, Theo? 10, right? It's really easy to get confused and mix these numbers up. So I really, really want to make sure we're all on the same page in terms of understanding which number is which. Just read the problem as many times as you need to until you realize, oh, that's the number that repeats, and that's the number that only happens once. That's the number we start at. Speaking of starting values, what is Lewis's starting value? Noah? Oh, Miguel, go for it, buddy. 50, thank you. And then Noah, what's his unit rate? 5. All right. If we're going to go ahead and set up our equations using y equals mx plus b, y1, which is Micah's equation, is going to look like what? What's Micah's? What's Micah's equation going to be, Max? Yeah, go ahead. Micah's equation. Anyone got it? Jordan, go for it.
Y equals 10x plus 20.
Beautiful. Y equals 10x plus 20. And then Lewis's equation is going to be y equals 5x plus 50. Move it down. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take these two equations, we're going to set them equal to each other. y1 is equal to y2, which means that 10x plus 20 is equal to 5x plus 50. So we set both equations equal to each other. Now we're just going to solve. The hard part's out of the way. We've got our equations set up. They both look great. Now we're going to solve. We'll split our equation down the equal sign. And what's the first thing that we want to do here? Well, actually, let's take a look real quick. If you want to skip back like a page or two, it should only be like one page back, to our solving order from yesterday, right? This was the last part of our notes yesterday, the solving order. And this is the order that we're going to do our steps for every single equation, including these word problems. So we don't have anything to distribute, we'll skip step 1. We don't have any fractions to bust, we'll skip step 2. We also don't have any like terms on the same side, so we're going to skip step 3 as well. We'll just jump right into the inverse operations like I mentioned. The first one being to add or subtract the variable terms to one side. So we'll take our variable term 5x, and we're going to subtract it from both sides. They cancel out on the right. Give us 5x plus 20 is equal to 50. What are we going to do now? Now that we've moved our variable term, what can we do next? Mason? Absolutely. We're going to move our constant term to the right and subtract 20 from both sides. They'll cancel out on the left, leaving us with 5x equals 30. And now, of course, we're going to do what? Divide both sides by 5. Leaving us with x is equal to 6. 6 what though? 6 dogs? 6 walks? 6 miles. Exactly. We take a look back. We were looking for how many miles they'd have to walk. So our answer is going to be 6 miles. As annoying as it is, if you set up the equations correctly and you solve the equation correctly, you get the correct answer, but you don't put the units on the end, you are going to get a point taken off on the test next Thursday, okay? 1 week from today. The units are the most important part of this. Yeah, Mason. Yeah, go ahead. The units are the most important part of this because 6 doesn't mean anything in the context of this problem without those units. Like I said, it could be 6 dogs, 6 walks, 6 leashes, I don't know. It could be anything. So what does this answer mean? Can someone tell us, just give us a quick short explanation sentence on what does this answer even mean? Theo, do you want to help us out? Go ahead.
It means, stop looking at me. In 6 miles, there, Micah and Lewis will cost the same amount, something like that.
Exactly. So, if Lewis and Micah both start walking together, after 6 miles, they will have made the same amount of money. Okay? And we may, if we have time tomorrow or next week, we'll talk about taking this a step further. But for now, that's all we need to worry about right there. Are there any questions I can answer about this?